The psychology of deep thinkers. Do you ever find yourself completely lost in thought, questioning absolutely everything? Do you crave deep, meaningful conversations while everyone else seems perfectly happy with small talk? Does it feel like your mind is running on a totally different operating system, one that's constantly analyzing, connecting dots, and digging way below the surface? If you're nodding along right now, you're not alone, and there's a psychological reason for it. You might just be what's known as a deep thinker, and figuring out what makes your mind tick is the first step toward using its full power. In a world that seems to run on speed, simplicity, and non-stop engagement, the deep thinker can often feel like a bit of an outsider, but this way of thinking isn't a flaw. It's a powerful and distinct cognitive profile. It's about more than just being smart or thinking a lot. It's a built-in tendency for reflection, analysis, and a search for meaning that's rooted in your psychology. Deep thinkers are the observers, the questioners, and the pattern seekers of the world. They possess a mind that is built for depth in a culture that often prefers to splash around in the shallows. Today, we're going to explore the architecture of this unique mindset. We'll look at the core psychological traits that define a deep thinker, not as a random list of quirks, but as interconnected parts of a whole. For each one, we'll identify it, explore the psychology behind it, touch on the challenges it creates, and most importantly, reframe it as the superpower it truly is. This is your guide to what it means to see the world a little differently, and how to embrace the incredible strength that comes with it. Trait 1. An insatiable curiosity and a drive to question everything. The first and maybe most foundational trait of a deep thinker is a bottomless curiosity. This isn't just a casual interest in new things, it's a relentless need to look behind the curtain. While plenty of people are fine with accepting information as it's given, the deep thinker's mind reflexively asks, "But why?" You don't just want to know what happened. You have to understand how it happened, why it happened, and the principles at play. You're the one who challenges the status quo, not to be difficult, but because you have a genuine need to understand if the things we accept as normal actually make sense. This constant questioning is a cognitive habit. Psychologically, it shows a mind that's just not comfortable with simple black and white answers. You're drawn to the messy, complicated gray areas. You don't just learn a fact, you plug it into a massive mental web, connecting it to other ideas, checking for inconsistencies, and tracing its implications. When you hear about a historical event, you're not just memorizing a date, you're pondering its ripple effects and the ethical questions it raised. This is critical thinking in its purest form, a mind that actively deconstructs information instead of just passively absorbing it. Of course, a mind that never powers down can be exhausting. It can feel like you're carrying the cognitive load for the whole room. Socially, this trait can be tricky. In a meeting or a casual chat, your probing questions might come off as negative or arrogant, when they're really coming from a place of pure intellectual hunger. People might say you overcomplicate things, when you're simply trying to honor the complexity you see so clearly. But here's the reframe. Your relentless curiosity is the engine of discovery and truth. In a world flooded with misinformation, your instinct to question everything is an incredible shield. It protects you from being easily fooled and helps you build beliefs that are solid and well-earned. This isn't about being a cynic. It's about demanding a higher standard of understanding. It's the very quality that lets scientists make breakthroughs, artists create revolutionary work, and individuals build a life based on their own authentic values, not borrowed ones. Trait 2. A rich, complex inner world fueled by introspection. The second trait of a deep thinker is a rich, complex, and always-on inner world. You probably spend a lot of time in your own head. But this isn't just daydreaming. It's a process of deep introspection. For you, examining your own thoughts, feelings, and motives isn't some chore you have to schedule. It's your mind's default setting. Neuroscience offers a fascinating clue as to why this might be. Our brains have something called the default mode network, DMN, which kicks in when we aren't focused on an external task. It's the part of the brain associated with mind-wandering, remembering, and thinking about ourselves. It's thought that for deep thinkers, this network might be particularly active, constantly processing experiences and weaving them into the story of who you are. This could be why you find yourself replaying a conversation from hours ago, not out of anxiety, but to analyze it from different angles, understand your own reactions, and grasp the other person's perspective with more empathy. You're basically a full-time student of your own consciousness. The main challenge here is that this vibrant inner world can make you seem a little absent-minded or detached. You might be physically in a room, but your mind is a million miles away entangling a complex idea. This can lead to those lost-in-thought moments where you miss what someone just said or forget why you walked into a room. And if you're not careful, this introspective habit can sometimes slip into unproductive rumination, getting stuck in negative thought loops instead of moving toward useful insights. But the power of this trait is immense. This deep introspection is the foundation of self-awareness, personal growth, and emotional intelligence. While others might go through life just reacting to their own programming, you have the ability to become the architect of yours. By understanding your own patterns and triggers, you gain the freedom to consciously choose your responses instead of being ruled by them. This inner world isn't an escape from reality. It's the workshop where you build a more intentional one. Trait 3. A dual craving for solitude and deep conversation. Here's a trait that sounds like a contradiction but makes perfect sense for a deep thinker. An intense need for solitude, paired with an equally intense desire for deep, meaningful conversation. You likely find things like small talk and superficial parties to be physically and mentally draining. To you, chatting about the weather or celebrity gossip can feel like a colossal waste of energy. It's not that you're antisocial, it's that your mind is wired for depth, and shallow interactions just leave you feeling empty. Your need for solitude is a direct result of your active mind. For you, being alone isn't about loneliness. It's a non-negotiable requirement for processing the world. After being bombarded with data all day, conversations, other people's emotions, an endless stream of information, you need time alone to sort through it all and make sense of it. Solitude is where you recharge, where your best ideas pop up, and where you can finally hear yourself think. On the flip side, when you do connect with people, you crave depth. You come alive in conversations that explore big ideas, philosophical questions, and the messy, beautiful complexities of being human. Finding someone who will gladly dive into those deep waters with you is one of the most fulfilling experiences you can have. It's not just an exchange of information. It's a true meeting of minds where you feel completely seen. The challenge is obvious. In a world that often runs on small talk, you can feel incredibly lonely. Your distaste for superficial chatter can be mistaken for being snobby or aloof. Your need for solitude can make it tough to keep up with friends who need constant contact. It can lead to a painful feeling of isolation, that sense that you just don't quite fit in. But let's reframe this. Your dual craving isn't a social handicap. It's a highly effective filtration system for your life. It pushes you to invest your energy where it counts, in your own well-being and in a few high-quality, authentic relationships. Your desire for deep conversation ensures that when you connect, it's genuine. You may have fewer friends, but the friendships you do have are likely to be incredibly profound. Trait 4. Heightened sensitivity and emotional depth. The fourth trait is a heightened sensitivity, not just emotionally, but to pretty much all stimuli. You just seem to experience the world with more intensity. This isn't about being fragile. It's about having a nervous system that processes information with incredible richness. You're the one who notices the tiny shift in someone's tone of voice that gives away how they really feel. You can walk into a room and immediately pick up on the emotional vibe. Art and music don't just entertain you, they can shake you to your core. Psychologically, this is tied to a greater depth of processing. Your brain doesn't just register something happening, it analyzes it, feels it, and connects it to your entire emotional landscape. This is why you might feel the weight of global issues so personally. You don't just see a headline about a distant tragedy. You genuinely empathize with the suffering behind it, which can leave you feeling frustrated or heartbroken about the state of the world. The challenge, of course, is the risk of being completely overwhelmed. Being so open to the world means you're more prone to sensory overload and emotional burnout. A crowded, noisy place can feel like a full-on assault. Taking on the emotional burdens of others can lead to empathy fatigue, where you're so drained from feeling for everyone else that you have nothing left for yourself. This sensitivity can make you feel raw and exposed in a world that often seems harsh. But this is also the source of your greatest gifts. It's the wellspring of true empathy, allowing you to connect with people on a level that few can. It's the engine of your creativity, helping you see the subtleties and beauty that others miss. It fuels your intuition, giving you a powerful gut feeling about people and situations that is often spot on. Your sensitivity may make you vulnerable, but it's also what allows you to experience the full, vibrant spectrum of human life. It's not a weakness, it's your gateway to a richer existence. Trait 5. a naturally analytical mind and a gift for seeing patterns. The fifth trait is a naturally analytical mind, combined with an almost uncanny ability to see patterns and connections that fly right over other people's heads. Your mind works like a detective's, constantly sifting through information, spotting inconsistencies, and piecing together clues to see the big picture. You have a knack for breaking down complex problems, figuring out how the parts fit together, and coming up with smart solutions. You probably enjoy puzzles, strategy games, or anything that lets you flex this mental muscle. You might find yourself mentally reverse engineering how something works, predicting the twist in a movie, or seeing the long-term consequences of a decision way before anyone else. This pattern recognition skill often extends to people too, which is why you're probably a pretty shrewd judge of character. The biggest challenge of this analytical mind is the dreaded analysis paralysis. Your ability to see every possible angle of a situation can make decisions an absolute nightmare. You know, when choosing a new brand of toothpaste turns into a 3-day research project, you can get so caught up weighing the pros and cons that you fail to actually do anything. But when you learn how to manage it, this analytical prowess is an undeniable superpower. It helps you navigate an increasingly complex world with wisdom and foresight. You're much less likely to be fooled by simplistic arguments or fall for cheap tricks because your mind automatically pokes holes in them. This ability to think in systems makes you an exceptional problem solver and strategist. You can anticipate roadblocks and create solid plans. In your personal and professional life, it means you're capable of making well-reasoned, thoughtful decisions that actually last. The so what, the big picture, and the overthinking trap. So we have these 5 traits: insatiable curiosity, a rich inner world, a need for solitude and depth, heightened sensitivity, and an analytical mind. It's important to see that these aren't just separate quirks. They all work together, creating a mind that is fundamentally wired for depth. But this brings us to a critical distinction: the difference between deep thinking and its evil twin, overthinking. People probably accuse you of overthinking all the time, and you might even worry about it yourself. But they are not the same thing. Overthinking is a hamster wheel. It's a cognitive loop driven by fear and anxiety. You're spinning and spinning, using a ton of mental energy, but you're not going anywhere. It's repetitive, unproductive, and usually spirals into what-if scenarios and harsh self-criticism. Overthinking paralyzes you. Deep thinking is a scuba dive. It's constructive and has a direction. You're moving downward with a purpose, exploring the depths to find a pearl of wisdom before coming back to the surface with a conclusion. It's driven by curiosity, not fear. Deep thinking moves you forward. The key difference is the outcome. Overthinking leads to mental fog and inaction. Deep thinking leads to insight and clarity. Learning to spot when your mind has slipped from a productive deep dive into a destructive hamster wheel is one of the most vital skills you can develop. It's the difference between using your powerful mind as a tool and being trapped by it. Being a deep thinker in a world that often seems to be sprinting in the opposite direction is tough. It can be lonely. You may have spent years feeling different or misunderstood for the very way your brain is wired. But the message here is one of total validation and empowerment. These traits are not flaws, they are the hallmarks of a profound and incredibly valuable way of being. Your constant questioning is what pushes us all forward. Your rich inner world is what makes true self-awareness possible. Your need for solitude is how you protect your most precious resource, your mind. Your sensitivity is what makes you empathetic and creative. And your analytical nature is what helps you navigate life with wisdom. In a society that is drowning in noise, speed, and superficiality, a mind capable of depth, reflection, and quiet thought is not obsolete. It is more essential than ever. It is a gift. It allows you to live a life of greater meaning and authenticity, so please don't try to silence your inquisitive mind or numb your sensitive heart. Learn to embrace your unique operating system. Your perspective is not just valid, it is vital. Being a deep thinker isn't your burden, it's your contribution. If any of this resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Share your own experiences in the comments. What do you find is the biggest challenge or the greatest superpower of being a deep thinker? Your story might be the one that helps someone else feel seen. And if you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing for more content designed to help you navigate your inner world. Thanks for watching.